Let's kind of switch gears and actually talk about competition and talk about building into competition. So what are some of the important pieces that you see for a teen athlete when you're deciding how to design their program, or what the real end game really is for this athlete? I know it's a deep question, but
I'm just
where would you even start if an athlete? I'll give you an example. Somebody comes to you and says, "I want to be a CrossFit Games teen athlete." They're 16 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you start?
Yeah. Well, first of all, we start with finding the truth, and that is with an assessment, right? I think a kid who dreams to go big and who wants to go to the games at 16 years old, he needs to understand there's only a year and a half track to that, and only 1% can do that. So first of all, is he that 1%? We don't know. I can't say no, that's never going to happen. He's going to come through my system. He's going to be tested for 2 weeks, and I'm going to have some numbers that dictate that and compare to. Because when I look at the ability and where they sit first, there is a max potential and absolute strength, a max potential and capacity that they do have to hit at some point within that 16 to 18 years of age. So whether it's a back squat at 365 or a power clean and jerk at 305, how close are they to those predictors of performance for me to give them a great answer? If they're far from that, right? If it's somebody who hasn't touched a weight and they just saw a video from the CrossFit site and they say, "Hey, I want to do that," and they call us and say, "Hey," and then they can't back squat 135 pounds or even move correctly, obviously it's an easy discussion. It's like, well, we can have a 5-year plan.
So let's talk about that for a second. So you actually think it's better to tell them that they may not make it?
Oh, I think it's absolutely essential.
Why?
I mean, I don't know how authentic coaching would be after that. For me, it's being authentic with that athlete and being able to deliver a vision that is fulfilling. I think if you try to bring in a bunch of smoke and mirrors and saying, "Oh yeah, I can get you there," and feed them with bullshit, I think at the end of the day you're going to find within 6 months to a year that client's going to be gone and unfulfilled.
You can just even hear it in your voice. You're like, "F that noise!" Like, they need to know now.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's so important to what you and all the other coaches believe in here, is that you have to have a real expectation about what this athlete is today and where they can really go. I mean, because if I walk through your door 20 years ago, you'd say, "You're simply not strong enough," and then 5 years after that, you'd probably say, "You're just not strong enough." You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, how many kids want to be NFL quarterbacks?
Yep.
Right? And I'm sorry, if you're 5'5" and 140 pounds, you're probably not going to be at age 17, 18. So I mean, that truth comes out in that sport as well. In high school and in junior college and even in NCAA, if you don't cut the avatar of what that looks like, or even the basic skill levels to be able to say, "Oh yeah, you might have potential," it's not even a conversation.
Well, it's interesting you say that. I mean, are you basically saying that CrossFit at a teen level, or even at the regular level maybe, isn't looked at as a professional sport? I mean, is that the ultimate problem? Is that you've got novices who think that they could be professionals? Is that what you think?
Well, the problem with CrossFit is that everybody thinks they can do it, right?
Do the sport or compete?
Sport. Well, the way they advertised it, now it's changed in just recent times, but the way they advertised it, and back in the day in the Opens, everyone can do it, right? So the entry was, it doesn't matter who you are or where you've come from, you can be able to compete in the sport. Now, obviously, we've seen over time that change every year, but I still think these youth see that. They still look at, "Hey, I can do this," and he can do it, I can do it, kind of thing, without any predictors or any tests saying, "No, you can't." Mm-hmm. And I think you learn really quickly at the age of 12 if you're going to be a great athlete or not, because there's certain measures of fitness that are accumulated within the schooling system even to give you an idea of that.